Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Limbus Company reaction. Today we have Intervallo's Boss IV-2. I suppose this is a newer one compared to the one I had listened to a little while back, and there's a bunch of other boss themes specifically that Pobat has also thrown into the queue, just a bunch of bosses. So like if there's a specific one you want me to get to first, let me know, because he literally put like 5 into the guaranteed queue and I need like a starting point. But without further ado, and first of all, let's get to Intervallo 4-2's boss theme and hear what this one has in store, shall we? Let's go. Woo. Starting off on the really high energy immediately out the gate. Makes sense. Boss themes do be bossin'. Oh yeah. I felt that techno beat coming in way before it started. Ooh. That's a synth I haven't heard in a while. That really sawtoothy synth. It's something that's just hasn't been around in recent memory. Ooh. Shake it up with a little Latin groove. Ooh, ooh, oh, hello. Did not expect the halftime breakdown. Let's go. Woo. I love the double time like string synth under that. Just half timing the beat alone feels great in this context. I honestly thought it was going to transition back there, but nope, we're still halftime. This boss be grooving. There it is. Okay. Back to main beat. I have some thoughts about this boss too. As per usual. That's it. That sound effect. Oh, went up. Ooh. I thought that was gonna play it more simple. I'm gonna say something very bold when I get to the breakdown of this one, but I hope at least some of you understand where I'm coming from when I say it. All right, dude. Okay, so let's get into it. So that bold comment I was gonna make, I'm gonna still say it, but I just want to clarify that it's not something that I feel would be like controversial. It's just kind of a weird perspective that only some people might understand. This gave me Rob Zombie vibes. And that is a subsection of listeners that would be like, oh yeah, I hear it. And then everyone else is like, what the hell do you mean by that? If you know, you know. It's one of those. Some might even say Power Man 5000 is a little closer. I'm understanding a little bit of both of that. I'm hearing it's mostly that synth, I think, because I've heard Rob Zombie utilize that before. I'm pretty sure he used it in his most popular song ever, Dragula. So you get the point there. It's a very similar sound, and I think that's what's kind of pulling that out of me. But overall, this song sounded very Halloween, which of course I associate with somebody like Rob Zombie. But I think that relation is also happening because I personally relate Rob Zombie with that Halloween vibe, if only because I worked at a haunted house through most of my late teens, and I I heard him all the time, all night, constantly on repeat. So I just associate him with that vibe, not to mention the Halloween remakes. So like there's a bunch of reasons why there, but that synth especially is kind of pulling that thought out of me. And onto that Halloween vibe a little bit more, that whole synthy, like dark sound that happens here. I'm feeling like this song belongs to somebody who also fits in that category. I'm going to go with a character that is maybe modeled after kind of a universal, like, monster movie kind of monster, like a werewolf or a vampire, something like that. Mummy, maybe. Something related to that I could totally see. It's just the vibe that they're setting, and that just goes to show how good Studio EIM is at making songs related to those greater images in your mind, relating them to sounds that have been so associated with certain visual aesthetics, and they're just leaning into that instead of trying to make their own thing, their own sound unique to this world. They're borrowing from things that are very colloquial and that we're all familiar with, and we relate to these other things already, and they're just doing that. So you're like, oh yeah, I've experienced this thing, and this reminds me of this bigger thing. So you're going to draw those lines a lot more readily, and that's just highly intelligent song creation, especially on Mass like they're doing. I don't know if that's exactly what they're going for, but I think that sound and those approaches just orally are kind of what they're going for. They're approaching songs in a mass appeal sort of way, and that again works fantastically. It's not cheap, it's not chintzy, they're just doing exactly what they need to in order for most people to understand the song and understand the vibe of the scene that they're setting. And I think that's why I've understood so many of their songs just hearing them and like then pulling out correct character descriptions from them, because they're so good at putting that up on a pedestal and making it very obvious. It's like there's a light behind them, it's shining and it's like flashing, like, hey stupid, it's obvious. Like, to me, somebody who is neurodivergent, I pick up on that shit all the time, and that tracks here, and I'm just able to draw those lines so quick. I love that pumping techno energy that comes from this song. I love how it broke that down and took it out to do the halftime in the middle, and it brought it back in. That's just kind of standard things, but I also like that they kept the standard time on the strings and synths in the middle there, even though the beat was halftime. That kept things moving forward. You didn't feel the loss of rhythm, even though the halftime came in and you should kind of feel more of that lull. It didn't pull you down, it didn't drop the energy, because everything else in the song that was usually supported by that faster beat is still doing that. It's keeping its pace and just kind of trading off where they're sharing those beats landing in the song. And also the fact that the synth is so aggressively sawtooth as well. For those who don't know what a sawtooth synth is, it's basically that type of synth. It's that very like harsh edge kind of sound that you get in synths. There's a few different types of synths that you can make in different wave patterns, and sawtooths are that really aggressive choppy sound that you get out of ones like this, and it just feels so much more powerful. There's definitely a psychological element to that, like you feel like you're being chased, you feel like there is anxiety being held here. There's no room for the brain to get out of a sawtooth synth, especially when it's backed with all this high octane beat going on underneath it. It's just going, it's just pumping through, it's making your heart race, it's making your brain think fast. It's perfect for a boss track. And they also have that like theremin-esque oscillation, that vibrato on that synth underneath it. It's pretty subtle in there, but obviously it's still there, and it just feels more spooky. You know, that's something that we related to back in like the 60s and 50s with monster movies and especially alien movies, and it's just continued on with that relation through future generations till now. It's still related with that, and again, that's kind of why I'm getting these lines to draw from this song, because I think they are just utilizing those very common grounds to build the song off of. And again, that's just intelligent to do so, and it makes understanding the song that much easier when you're especially trying to focus on whatever battle's on hand on the screen, and that's just sitting in the back of your mind, still playing, still processing, but might not be at the forefront. So it's just adding it as an assistant, and after all, most music in most games is just an assistant to help sell that extra energy or the the general vibe of the scene. So it's doing its job exceedingly well, and I cannot fault it at all for doing exactly what it needs to. This is another great song from Studio EIM, and I have no complaints here. It's just well done. So I suppose that's about all I can say. If I am correct about this kind of being a monster-inspired character, please let me know again. I wonder if I'm close on that, but again, Studio EIM just spelling it out for me at this point. And I guess people are surprised at that, but like I said, neurodivergent brain, I have a different way of processing certain things like this, especially sound, so I'm able to break down these character traits out of music. If you ever want me to explain how I do that, I totally could. I've thought about making that its own separate video in like length, explaining how to do that, and so you can do it for yourself, but let me know if that's a thing that people are interested in, because I would totally do so if people actually want to hear it. But I'll digress. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more of me get to more Limbus Company stuff, Hobat put plenty of boss themes into the queue, so I have plenty to pick from. Let me know which one I should get to first, because I guarantee you it's in his list. And otherwise, if you have another song, drop it in the comments below, and I'll do my best as always to get to it. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to follow me and support me for more in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye!